Let's do the after the show.
Oh, the after the show show?
After the show. I didn't, let's see, my computer fell asleep while I was, talking into my microphone.
Okay, what are we going to talk about for the after the show show?
That's the cool thing about after the show. You never know what you and I will come up with.
I know, exactly. Well, actually, I know we're going to talk about courage. And I'm kind of excited about that one, and I can't explain why, other than, well, I'm curious to know, I guess one thing I've wondered is if courage, is it okay if we talk about a future subject in the after the show show?
We can, good. After the show, people will know it's a next episode coming up.
Because, well, I'm excited because I want to write a little bit about that one before we actually do our podcast, just to put my thoughts down, and then when we do our Q&A. But courage, I'm just wondering if that is like, I don't want to say, is it like the underpinning or maybe one of the foundational supports of the Love.Being.Human system? Because I could see, I mean, I don't know if I'm looking at courage the same way you would, as I'm always curious what you're going to say. But for me, I think it takes courage on so many levels to be brave enough to take those next steps, to act with compassion. I mean, to look at things differently and to pause. Sometimes it really takes courage, in my opinion. So.
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
I was hoping you'd say that. I was going to be disappointed if it wasn't important.
And for those after the show people that are getting to know you and I read each other's minds. So I don't actually recall any time that I've said no. That's not what I was thinking. So it's just so like warm to know, and I affirm, and I always get positive feedback when I'm like, yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
because love is the ultimate courage, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and not being afraid to love and give love, and sometimes you just have to put yourself out there and be strong and be willing to take that. If you do this or select to do that, it may not turn out the way you were hoping. But, that might be about another person and not about yourself. You have to not be afraid to try. I think that's where the courage comes in, to me anyways.
Well, and it's also the releasing of any expectation or reciprocation. I think that not true love in the sense that our society and the world thinks of true love, but love in its truth is without expectation.
Right, and not getting in the trap of placing demands on people, I guess.
Oh my goodness.
No. Is that what you mean by...
Yes. I think I have this quote that you've put on social media, but it's one of my favorite because I feel like the words that have been born that have the deepest meaning always come from my I don't know how to say it, but from my rawest pain. And there's a quote where I talk about love like an open hand.
Mm-hmm.
Where it just like, if it's trying to hold water, it just lets it go.
Mm-hmm.
And you have adult children like I do, and I've shared with you that Joshua is a senior in college, and so he's been gone 5 years. And just recently, 5 years, and it's just recently that I just haven't mourned him being gone. But because I love him, I'd rather he be gone and fulfill his life. So love is letting go. Love is opening. And so often in relationships, I think I see that instinctually, when we're not in love, when we're in our human form, we're holding back and we're bringing back and we're clutching and that is just fear. That doesn't take courage. It doesn't. And I got to give a shout out here to my lovely hubby. And I know you love your hubby too.
I do.
And the courage that it takes for these men to just allow us, to sort of fertilize the ground around us, to grow into our best selves, even when it doesn't quite make sense, I do. And here's where I'll share for our listeners. it might not quite make sense because I'm getting, I don't know, what is it called? Nervous feet? What is that saying?
I'm not sure. Nervous feet. Oh, I don't know that one, Vivian. I'm sorry.
What is it called when somebody's getting married and then they...
Oh, cold feet.
Cold feet. There it is.
Cold feet. You get cold feet.
I'm getting cold feet about a commitment that in a place that I've been trying to get to for almost 2 years, and that's to, this 10-day residential course on I don't even know if I'll say it right, Vipassana Meditation. 10 days to step away from the world and to step away from my life, And David asked me yesterday, he said, what do you hope to learn from this? And I thought that was just a beautiful question. It's just a beautiful question, because I can imagine in his mind, he's probably thinking, why are you doing this? Why are you leaving? Why, we're going to miss you. And I could feel that. But what he asked was, what are you hoping to learn from this? I thought that was just so beautiful. And and I shared with you before we got started, I'm just, this a discipline of thought. Our life is formed we think our life is formed in our mind. But it's created in our hearts. And I think just like Love.Being.Human, it's this integration of these systems so that, we move from that initial thought in our mind, create that pause and that stillness and in whatever presence and practice we individually follow, so that we can have the courage to move forward in love. And for me, this experience, I hope, is what's going to allow me to move forward a little bit more purposefully, a little bit more with inspiration towards my next actions. So I don't know how we got there from here, but that's where we are.
Well, we're going to have to include this in the next after the show. We're going to have to find out how this goes after the 10 days is up. I'm going to be really curious to hear about it.
And we have a call that next day after I return, so it'll be nice and fresh. So
and that's our Q&A on courage, actually.
It is. It is. So for listeners out there that are listening to after the show, we'll figure it out by the time you see this, how to interconnect through the interwebs all those experiences so that you can easily jump to them. But we've chatted it up now for quite a bit. So are there any closing thoughts or final phrases that you want to say to our listeners?
No, I don't think I have anything. I think I just enjoyed talking like I always do. I enjoy our conversations and the naturalness of it. And thank everyone for listening to the After the Show.
Thank you, Rebecca. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay. Good night. Goodbye.